a few months ago, after knowing Eckhart Tolle for a while and studying the books, I woke up and I suddenly got it. I understood suddenly how thought was just an illusory thing. And how thought is responsible for, if not all, most of the suffering we experience. And then I suddenly felt like I was looking at these thoughts from another perspective. And I wondered, who is it that's aware that I'm thinking? And suddenly I was thrown into this expansive, amazing feeling of freedom from myself, from my problems. I saw that I was bigger than what I do. I was bigger than my body. I was everything and everyone. I was no longer a fragment of the universe. I was the universe. And ever since that day, I've been trying to get back there. It comes and it goes. It's like riding a wave. Sometimes I'm on, sometimes I'm off. But at least I know where I want to go. And that I want to take as many people with me as I possibly can, because the feeling is amazing.
I don't want to see the same old thing. Right. And I think there's a ton of people out there that don't want to see the same old thing. And it's very strange, because I've been sharing things that, lately about what I believe and stuff that are really kind of, maybe a few years ago might have been like, okay, Jim, yeah, well, maybe we'll join you on that planet someday.
I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in icons?
boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons?
I'm finding that people are all kind of for the most part, accepting of another kind of way of looking at things, or letting go of character. There's this kind of weird thing, like I went on a Broadway stage with Michael Moore last week, and I did a lot of comedy and I did political stuff, and that was all great. And then I just kind of slowed down and started talking about the river of tears that we all have to face, and eventually, and that we're all avoiding, and how at the other side there's, that your body can survive it, but you can't, and and you're better off without a you or an I. And I got into that pretty heavily, and they were looking at me like, oh, this isn't what you're supposed to say. Right. Like, you're supposed to say, we're important, and you're supposed to say it's all going to be all right, and you're supposed to say that whatever you dream can come true, and you're supposed to say all those things.
I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
I do believe in manifestation, power of that kind of stuff, but I don't believe that any of it matters. This mattering is to me a human construct. Born out of a need, just same need as you have to have, deities and things like that. I mean, I believe in an energy of God, an energy of, everything is divine. There's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. I'm not the body. I'm you guys, and I'm this thing, and I'm this thing, and I'm the cameras, and it doesn't matter to me what's happening on them. Sometimes I still have the groove cut in me that, wants my hair to look nice.
Right.
It's an ancient thing. Yeah. There's still ego there, but I don't, I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way. They're like, I don't want to be me either. And I go, well, great, because you never have been.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
The knowledge has been evolving, and I believe that I had to become a famous, idea.
Yeah.
And get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that that look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been a part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got nice clothes, and and you're and you've done something that people admire, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from.
I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry, you're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut it down now.
Do you feel like you're separated from the rest of the world and what's going on?
No, not separated at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself.
And I dealt with depression, a few years ago, and people still think, well, he's going through, you can tell he's depressed, and it's not. I have no depression in my life whatsoever, literally none. I have sadness and joy and elation and satisfaction and gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is weather, and it just spins around the planet. It doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me.
I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world, and now I feel like the world and the universe experiencing a guy.
Karen.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
No, I
Was
didn't
that an
get dressed
accident?
up. I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream.
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
There's just
It's just
everywhere.
with us.
There's just everything. The happy place is realizing that you're everything, and that there's no real you involved in the first place. It's a weird little semantic jump that you make where it sounds like, well, that's totally fucking threatening, man. I can't not be me. I've built this construct.
Yeah.
From the time I was given a name, and it's just ideas. They're just ideas. The only thing that separates you from an African American or an African Canadian is an idea. And the weather.
Right.
And the adaptation to the climate. And whatever it is, I don't believe in any of it.
Thought I had become Andy Kaufman, but there was no me actually at the end of it all. I realized that there was, that this character was making choices to play a character. And, so that's what kind of happened, and that's what Chris found in this interview and in this footage, that there was actually a existential, not a crisis, but a discovery going on,
And so the feeling of wholeness is a different feeling than meanness. I mean, throughout time, like Andy, like Lenny Bruce, like breakthrough people, artists and whatever, refused to wear the mask. Although Andy was putting masks on, in temperament and in his approach, he wasn't wearing a mask. He was going right for whatever you thought was precious.
Right.
And those types of people make it really hard for people to wear their masks, So those who wish to masquerade for the rest of this virtual game sometimes are made really uncomfortable by it. They're like, it really looks like a mask beside somebody who's not wearing a mask.
Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
How?
And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
It's like one soul. That's how I feel. I feel like, you know, people say, well, I have a soul. You don't have a soul. There's no you, but I feel like there is a soul, and it includes everything. Yeah. And when you wake up in the morning and you feel like I'm the universe, you don't have to reach for the stars. You know, you can just let life happen.
They're attracted to whatever that magnetism is at that time. You know, I don't really look for things. And it's the same with painting and sculpting and whatever. I'll just start, and it happens that later on my subconscious mind told me something, just like the scripts tell me something about where I was at, you know, and so they find me. You know, and that's why I disappear for long periods of time, because people go, well, what the hell, man? You're supposed to make 2.5 movies a year. Yeah. And I go, but that's playing to a demographic, and I don't want to do that ever. And plus, when you go away a little bit, sometimes you learn a new stroke. You know, it's like you lop your right arm off to learn how to write with your left, and then you sew the right arm back on when you've learned, and you go, hey, check it out. You know, and then you can come back. Still, you can do the old stuff, but the new stuff is there too. Kind of an interesting perspective on what came from losing yourself in a character and then realizing that you're a character has been playing you your whole life. I don't exist, so they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. You know, Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, right, because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character, you know, so it's, you know, I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
You know, I just want to warn people.
Could I see that?
Well, in a second, because
okay.
I just want to, you know, I want to tell people that if you go to a newsstand and you read about me in these rags, you know, 90% of what you're reading is absolute garbage. It's total fabrication.
Really? A lot of people think that, you know, I'm kind of going through something, but it's been my whole life, you know, and they go like, well, it's a reaction to depression. He's dealt with depression his whole life, and there's no hint of depression in my life whatsoever. Depression only happens when you don't accept what is, and when you're playing a character, you know, in life. So when I tried to go back and play Jim Carrey, I got depressed. You know, what am I is the central question. You know, right. Why am I here? What am I? You know, the one thing, like, people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, you know, from happenstance. Whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me, right. You know? And so a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster, and his take on it is that they should change, you know, you should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play. Right. You know, the great and powerful Oz. I'm the great and powerful Oz. How dare you come near me? You know, kind of thing. And you're just the sweaty guy behind the curtain going. It's an amazing metaphor, you know, in that movie.